Feelings always tell the truth about you. They tell the truth about what's happening inside you, your needs, fears, wounds, desires, boundaries, hopes. They tell you everything you need to know about what's happening inside of you.
You hit it on the head. Let's emphasize that. Inside of you. It might look different on the outside. So that's what can be confusing to feel like our feelings are lying or we can't trust them because the outside might not represent what we're feeling on the inside. Good morning, guys. We are your hosts, Lori
And Shenisse, certified spiritual life coaches, and we're so glad you're here. Welcome to Coaching Sessions, a series here on Branching In, where we coach you through various life challenges.
Yes, and we'd also love it if you take a moment to just like and subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us to have your support as we continue to spread more self-awareness.
Yeah.
So, Shenisse, in this episode today, we're going to share experiences that taught us feelings don't lie.
Oh, yes. Lori, let's get into it.
So people often say, feelings lie, or I can't trust my feelings. I know I've said this, I've heard people say this, but actually, your feelings tell the truth about you.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. There's so many misconceptions about feelings, which is why we're doing today's episode.
Yeah.
So, yes, feelings always tell the truth about you. They tell the truth about what's happening inside you, your needs, fears, wounds, desires, boundaries, hopes. They tell you everything you need to know about what's happening inside of you.
You hit it on the head. Let's emphasize that inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
It might look different on the outside. So that's what can be confusing to feel like our feelings are lying or we can't trust them because the outside might not represent what we're feeling on the inside.
Yeah. Just because you feel something within you doesn't necessarily mean that that's the truth about what's happening outside of you. So think of feelings like a check engine light in your car. The light doesn't tell you what the problem is necessarily, but it does signal to you that something needs your attention, right? There is something going on in the vehicle that needs your attention.
And that is such a great analogy. I love that so much
Isn't it?
because we've all experienced that. The check engine light goes on. It's like, it's just kind of, it grabs your attention,
Mhm.
doesn't it? I mean, it's like immediately we stop when we see the light. And it's a great way to look at feelings as that check engine going on is there. It just needs some attention. Your feelings are real because your experience is real, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily mean that what's happening in your outer reality, it may not be the truth about what you're feeling, but the experience itself is real. So if you feel hurt, stressed, or unsafe, that's real. You're feeling that for a reason. That is real. And it is something that you definitely want to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's
Does it
really
mean
saying something needs you, right? Something needs your attention.
Something within you is needing something. And maybe the situation isn't exactly what you think it is, but your reaction is real and deserves attention.
That just feels good saying that, because I know so many times I've doubted myself or my feeling, but just knowing that it's real and not to sit and analyze it or put it under the carpet or, negate it. Uh, no, it really is real. And even when someone else is sharing their feeling with me about something and it might not make sense to me, it doesn't matter. It's their feeling and it's real and it's here to show them something.
So often, there's this fear that like you have to prove that it's real. Like, oh, well, it's not real unless others also agree that it's real, and if they don't agree that it's real, well, then maybe it's not real. We gaslight ourselves so much so when it comes to our feelings, but you don't need the agreement of someone else to understand that what you're feeling is real and to accept what you're feeling.
Yeah. Well, I think we've just become in a habit of needing that validation from others when we feel something. And I think that's comes back to being brought up. I mean, this is what our parents did was validate our feelings. If we were feeling something that was uncomfortable for them, they would tell us, "Why do you feel that? That you shouldn't feel that way."
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
how could we trust how we felt because we came into this world with being told how to feel and what
Mhm.
not to feel and, what's wrong with you? Why you feel like that? I mean, I know I heard that a lot growing up. And so it would make sense that there would be times that I would have a hard time feeling and trusting my feeling and have to go outside of myself to get validation for whatever I'm feeling like. Does that make sense to you, Shanice? Does this make sense why I feel this way?
Yeah, 'cause if not, then, well, maybe what I'm
Something's wrong
feeling
with
is
me.
wrong.
And
No.
something's wrong with me,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
There's a panic going on. Like if somebody does not validate this, to me, an alarm would go off. My check engine would be like, something's wrong because
Yeah.
you don't see what and feel what I'm feeling. And how
Mhm.
could you?
Yeah, yeah, and it's okay if someone's feeling something that we don't understand. There's no need to make them wrong for it or then not believe them like, "Oh, well, I wouldn't feel that way in your situation, so you must be lying about that," or, "There's something funny going on here." Like, we're all separate, individual, unique beings and have a right to however we feel. And we can extend that same respect to others, whether we understand what they're feeling or not. It's real to them.
Yeah, whether no matter where you're coming from, in what situation, if you have mental health issues, whatever it is, they have feelings too. Feelings don't lie. And we have not lived. The reason we can't be the judge on any of it is because we haven't lived each experience and step of the way with each other. We've only lived it with ourselves.
Yeah.
So to even judge or analyze or tell somebody how to feel, it's just impossible
Yeah.
to even adapt that. And again, I really believe we adapted from our childhood because our parents seemed to know how we felt
Yeah.
and how we didn't and how we shouldn't feel.
Mhm. Yep. And then we took all that conditioning and ran with it from there, doing that to ourselves. We no longer needed someone outside of us to invalidate our feelings. We started doing it to ourselves because that's what we learned to do.
Yeah.
And so feelings show your internal truth, right? So feeling anxious doesn't automatically mean something bad will happen, but it does show you need reassurance or
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah. Yeah. And just that's a good point. And just like feeling jealous doesn't mean someone is actually betraying you. But I mean, and that's so real. We've felt that like, oh, I feel really jealous. They definitely must be betraying me. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that, but it does mean a part of you might feel insecure or afraid of losing something important to you.
Yes. Yes, the feeling itself is honest, even if the story that comes with it isn't. And so I have a story that highlights that really well. I had an old friend from years ago and she was in a relationship with her boyfriend of the time and they would go places together, both an attractive couple, but he would like her boyfriend would tend to get more attention when they were out together from other women, and that always made her very upset and she would get like very insecure. And so like there was that feeling, right, of insecureness or maybe even betrayal, like girls are talking to him, he's talking back, what is going on? And so he wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong. He wasn't cheating on her. He wasn't betraying her, but her feelings of insecurity were real. And instead of reassuring her and letting her know, I love you, you're the only one for me, like, like it was more making her out to seem like, oh, well, what's wrong with you? You're
Gaslighting.
you're crazy. Like, what? You literally see me standing here just talking. Why are you making a big deal of it?
Mhm.
And I can see where he would see that, but it's again, the story that comes with a feeling may not necessarily be true, but there is something there that he could have validated for her. She could have validated for herself. But so often, that's not what happens. We get called crazy. We get called, oh, you're being too much right now. There's always something that it's like, I don't like the way you're feeling. I'm just going to block it. Instead of getting to the root of it and discovering where is this feeling stemming from and what can I do to help you, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do. We get lost, Shanice, in the story. And then when we use our emotions to talk on the story, that's when the person that we're sharing that with will turn it back on us because we're talking more about the story than actually the emotion. Like, well, that didn't really make me feel that great instead of this is what you did. You know what I mean? So when we are hyper focused on the story, I feel like that feeling gets lost in there
Mhm.
and we
Yeah.
never come back to address it because it already was told, no, you're wrong for feeling that way.
Yeah, because one person is trying to prove that what they're feeling is real, and the other person is trying so hard to prove that their feeling is nonsense. And you get so wrapped up in the story of, well, you did this and you could have done this, and well, you didn't do that. And like that, yeah, you're right. The emotion gets completely lost and nothing ever gets resolved.
Well, I think that was such a great example you gave, and I think that example can go into so many different angles with couples in general that are, anybody that's trying to talk to another person and they don't see eye to eye.
Hmm.
That you might, instead of being able to communicate and say, "Well, that's is how this made me feel," it feels like you made me feel this way, which nobody can make anybody feel anyway.
Yeah.
So when we hear that, it automatically that's the problem. And again, that we get lost in the story and there goes that whole emotion and we never come back to address that original emotion. So for your friend, the original thing that was coming up was probably, anxiety. And I don't know, I'm not her, but like feeling betrayed and anxious and insecure. Those
Hmm.
were things that and being told, "Well, I'm not betraying you. I'm not sleeping with somebody else, so your feelings are wrong.
Yeah.
We
Get over it.
the end."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and I'm sure for her, every time that comes back, those same feelings, because, those were just put under the rug, come
Hmm.
right back to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and and feelings are the clues. They're not instructions. So your job isn't to obey every feeling, but just listen to what it's trying to tell you. Which
Yeah.
is your example that you used to me, because I know I've been in this situation and insecure and been with someone that's, I have felt, maybe they're possibly betraying me by, talking to so many other people, but then checking in with me of my insecurity, checking into the clues of put that story aside, regardless of what they're doing, because I can't control that.
Hmm.
What am I doing? And what is causing this extreme reaction within me? Like, why do I feel so insecure here? And
Yeah.
really getting into that and really sitting with that feeling and taking that feeling as a clue.
Yeah, and then going from there, like, curiosity is so important here and so powerful because when we remain curious, we're not gonna go straight to judgment. So curiosity kind of sets judgment aside. And so then you can really look at what you're feeling without judging whatever's coming up, remaining curious and discovering along the way. So whatever you find, okay, interesting. And then you'll just continue to discover more and more, but remaining open to what you're feeling is that first step there.
And putting this all back to you. Do you know what I mean? It's such a great way. I think when we have relationships, whatever type of relationships, and interconnect with other beings, it's such a way to get back to us. It really helps us. These connections with others give us clues of what we're feeling and why. And, it's actually really helpful.
Yes, that they serve as a mirror. That honestly, that's what a relationship is, that is the advantage of being in relationship is they mirror you back to you. So you get to see yourself in a way that you can't really when you're on your own. There's so much work you can do using yourself as a mirror, but there's really no replacement for the kind of mirror that we receive when we're in relationship with someone because we can really they will mirror us right back to ourselves.
And the painful truth. Can't look away, and that's like it can be
Yeah.
strong. But again, feelings don't lie.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, and a common, Shanice, a common limiting belief that keeps us from trusting our feelings is, My feelings are only valid when others agree with them, which we
Yes,
just
that's
got
what
done talking about.
yeah, that's what keeps us stuck. That's what keeps us stuck and it prevents us from really accepting what we feel because we're like, well, it's like we don't even trust ourselves to know what we're feeling.
So true.
It is the opposite of that limiting belief. The empowered version of that belief is my feelings hold value regardless of others' opinions. It doesn't matter whether they agree with what you're feeling or not, whether they understand it or not. You know what you're feeling, trust what you're feeling and claim it.
Even if you don't know why you're feeling it in that moment, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Just honoring the feeling, not where it's coming from. Why do I feel insecure? Why do I feel sad right now? Why am I anxious? Just knowing that feeling is there for a reason. It's a clue. It's for you. It's supporting you. It's real. It's honest. That's all you need to know.
Yes, and it's showing you something about yourself that you're not going to discover and you're not going to heal unless you go into that feeling and see what it is that it's trying to show you about yourself. And so let's go into our coaching exercise, Lori, so our listeners can really understand how to do this in the most empowered way possible. The path of least resistance.
Yeah. And like always, Shanice, for everybody's convenience, we have placed this little coaching exercise and tip in the description so you can go come back to this as many times as you need to.
Yeah.
So, in this coaching exercise, we believe that to validate our feelings, we need a story to back them up.
Yes.
So, that what we just talked about, you don't.
Mhm.
There's no story that you need to back up your feeling. You just know there's a feeling so that you don't get the truth through the story. You find it just
Exactly.
within yourself.
Yes.
So, the first step is breaking the cycle of attaching a story to your emotions. That is having that awareness.
Mhm.
And by we can start by noticing when we're telling ourselves a story about our emotions. A good clue is when our thoughts start looping, repeating reasons, justifications, or blaming. When we catch ourselves doing this, we can just pause and remind ourselves.
Yeah. So pause and remind yourself this is just a story. The feeling itself is separate from the explanation my mind is creating. So, this is something you can tell yourself. As soon as your mind starts to go into the story and starts creating a story of what you're feeling, stop and say these words to yourself. This is just a story. The feeling itself is separate from the explanation my mind is creating. And then from there, you can shift your attention to your body. Ask yourself, where do I feel this emotion in my body? And like even place a hand. Place a hand where you're feeling the emotion in your body. That can be helpful. And then ask yourself, what does it feel like? And by asking yourself these questions and keeping your attention on the direct sensation of the feeling, you allow the energy of the emotion to move. Because when you attach a story, when you don't honor the feeling and you just go immediately to the story, you're unintentionally trapping the emotion in your body instead of allowing it to move through you. And that's what keeps us reliving the same stagnant, stuck energy of that emotion over and over and over again. Even when you've moved out of that story and you've moved on to a different story, let's say you were in an old relationship and now you're in a new relationship. If you have not felt that feeling and gone into the feeling, you're going to remain stuck in that energy
Yeah.
in your new relationship or whatever it is that has changed in your life. And so the best thing you can do is to just be with the emotion. Find out where it's in your body, what it feels like so you can actually move it and you don't have to keep reliving it over and over.
Yeah, I know it's very self-sabotaging, right? To you'll just keep bouncing from relationship to relationship, keep reliving and keep experiencing the same thing. And
Mhm.
also, maybe you are experiencing the same thing. It made me think in the next relationship, but because you haven't removed that emotion, you're really bringing that back in too. So you're
Mhm.
bringing the experience in your awareness, another person doing this exact same thing because of what you're putting out, because you have not moved that energy.
Mhm.
Even so, let's say you attract another situation that's the exact same thing of somebody giving you that feeling of betrayal, but you have that within you yet. So that you are attracting that.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that will also change the dynamic of what's coming in by feeling this, doing this exercise, feeling that emotion and being present with it. Because our emotions and they just want to be honored. They really do. They just want, like all of us, attention.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
just want to be loved. We just want to have attention. We just want a hug. It's like a hug, right?
Mhm.
And as soon as that, it's just like, when you get that hug and you just, I can go about my day now. That's
Yes.
what I think of when I feel like this. It's having and we say this over and over, and we will continue saying this on this podcast, is it's having a relationship with all the parts of ourselves. And it really creates this divine connection. But anyway, I just feel that is a big part of why we keep calling in that same experience too.
Yeah, yeah, because your emotions demand to be felt. They're like a toddler,
Mhm.
like, until you give your toddler attention, it will continue to scream and throw its tantrum and flail their arms and legs until you give them what they want, and, like, our emotions are the same. They're like toddlers. They want to be acknowledged, and they're gonna continue to loop and get louder and louder and louder and louder until we're like, "Okay," and we sit with them and we give them the attention they're asking
And
for.
so we stop telling them that they're lying.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear you're a liar?
Oh,
So
right?
what a horrible relationship to have with your feelings and say and dishonor them by
Mhm.
telling them it's a lie.
"Oh, you're
You
not
don't
real."
feel this way.
Yeah. "You don't Why are you feeling this way? Like,
Yeah.
we don't
What's
need to
wrong
be
with you?
feeling this way." Yeah.
Okay. So to wrap this episode up, Shanice, we really showed how feelings reveal what's going on with inside of us. And we learned that it's important to trust our feelings and shift the focus from the story to the actual feeling that is surfacing.
Yes. Yes. Such a simple, small little thing that honestly makes the world of difference. Ugh. Yes, and if you'd like to learn more about us, we offer an incredible 10-week boot camp that goes in depth into feelings. It's our first category, and there's a reason we have it as our first category. So click the link in the description to find out more details. And that's it for this episode. If this episode spoke to you, give us a thumbs up down below, subscribe, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it. And thank you guys so much for listening to Branching In with Shanice.
And Lori, join us for our next episode. We post on Fridays. See you guys then. Bye.